Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, the winning drive, moving to the prime time slot. All right, we appreciate all you guys joining us. Thank you, guys. We appreciate all of you guys. Anytime you are hanging out with us, you know the show belongs to you. So questions, comments, throw them out there. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. I do want to talk about the media availability today, though. Sark spoke to the media. A few players also spoke to the media. CJ was there. So we'll hear from Steve Sarkisian coming up a little bit later on. Also hear from Arch Manning, my favorite Arch Manning quote from the media availability. We'll get to all that here. Also, Stevie Lee coming up. He always joins us on Mondays, and even if we switching time slots, Stevie Lee was very accommodating. So we appreciate Stevie Lee's going to join us coming up momentarily. At first, I want to get in a little conversation about my favorite quote from the media availability. You were there, CJ, and we'll hear from Arch, but what were your thoughts at the media availability? Anything stood out to you other than, maybe some of the Arch stuff, but anything stood out to you particularly that would be of interest to the people at the media availability?
Yeah, I think just hearing from Sark, and Coach, you could speak on this, the kind of the mood of a coach the week of a big game is pretty, indicative of how practice is going. And I thought Sark was in a bit of a chipper mood. We've seen Mondays where he walks in there and it looks like, someone just ran over his dog. We've, seen Mondays where it feels like he's about to chase down the guy that ran over his dog and wanted to just have a different type of mindset. Today, it's like, okay, he's making jokes with the media. He's speaking a little bit more on, what this game means for college football and how excited he is for that. I think that practice has, one, been going very well behind the scenes, and two, I think Sark feels pretty confident about Texas going up to Columbus. So that was a big takeaway for me, Rod, is, hey, sometimes Mondays kind of tell the story of the week leading up to a big game. And today, at least speaking with Sark for about 30 minutes, it sounds like Sark's in a pretty good mood.
I like a confident Sark before one of those big games. They always play well, Coach, or at least they have under Sark, these big non-conference early primetime games. They've shown up and played really well on the big stage, even when they lost to Alabama in 2022. What are your thoughts, Coach, about anything that you heard? We'll hear from Sark coming up a little bit later on, but anything that stood out to you from the player availability or Sark speaking to the media?
Well, it just felt good. It just seemed to be a good vibe, from that press conference. And probably, I can't imagine there being a more watched opening day weekend game in the history of college football than probably, and he just acts like it's another day on the 40 acres, And so it's game week. I don't mind telling you, my blood pressure's been up a little bit today. I'm getting a little, getting kind of fired up, and I just talk to somebody in the street. I got a little more pep in my step, and he just, calm, and cool. And I tell you what, I will say this. I don't know how you can't love Arch Manning, and for a guy that carries himself the way that he does, and it's like make the most profound statement that I've heard a college football player make in a long time. It was just like almost out of a James Bond movie or something, and just like, man, it's no big deal. I loved it. I just thought it was a great interview today.
Yeah. Coach, your blood pressure going up. You mean you got to get on the humans? You got to go get some of those cardiovascular little gummies that Texas signed a deal with earlier today. Speaking of,
look at this guy.
Look, I got him right here. No free
Look
ads.
At that.
I've been bought out by Big Beat. Big Beat's got me under their wing right now.
That's why. That's a natural. They just did a little natural endorsement there. CJ,
you got me.
Well, I could work on my abs a little bit if I ate those beets, because I would be throwing up.
I want to try those though. Actually, I'm a little curious about that, CJ, because I did read it on it came across my timeline actually, so I want to see that anyway. But I want to throw out the Arch quote before we move on and hear from Stevie Lee and talk to him about game week coming up versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. But here is shout out to my man Dennis De La Pena over at Fox, because I believe he's the one that we got this audio from. But if you could pull it up, Matthew, here is Arch Manning when he was talking about, Texas having obviously the target on their back. Texas now at number 1, right, in the coaches poll and in the AP poll in a preseason manner for the first time in school history. Here is what Arch had to say about having the target on their back.
Are you mentally prepared to have huge X on your back all season long where everybody is going to be coming through?
I mean, I think that's all of us at Texas, and I think we kind of try to shift the narrative. We're going for everyone else. Target's not on our back. We got a red dot on everyone else.
I like that.
Baby.
I like that. That's good. I don't know if he came up with it just off the cuff or if that's the talk in the locker room, like among the guys. Is that no, man, we don't have the target. We got the red dot on everybody. Either way, I love it. The delivery was good. It wasn't. He wasn't saying it to brag or anything. He was like, no, this our mentality is we don't have the target. Target's on you. Watch out. Swag.
Yeah,
swag.
Like being hunted.
Swag. Yep, exactly. Yes. No, it is. It's like I said, that was my favorite Manning quote so far. Hopefully we get a lot of those. Yeah. I love this young man. All right.
I mean, if Texas is walking out with a quarterback that has that type of swagger, that type of approach, it's like watching The Wire and any scene that Omar's walking down the street in. And it's just like you see everybody run, right? It's like you just running inside. It's like, oh shoot, Omar's coming down. You hear the whistle, you see Arch running out the tunnel. It's like that's really what Texas is coming out with. Yeah, that's a dangerous animal right there. And I think with the way that Texas has been recruiting lately, the teams Texas has put on the field lately, if now that's the swagger that you're walking with, I
agree. Yeah, the team usually reflects leadership, and that's the leadership you're dealing with too. All right, so we'll get back to that. Let me let's get into our Monday. What has been our Monday interview, but usually in our old time slot we have Stevie Lee. But Stevie Lee said, "Hey, no doubt, even though you guys are moving a few hours, all right, into prime time, he was still wanting to be a big part of the show. So we're very thankful to have a lifetime Longhorn, my former teammate Stevie Lee, joining us on Monday, as always, courtesy of our good friends at Heart Grove Roofing. Go to heartgroveroofing.com, or you can reach out to our friends over at Heart Grove Roofing today if you have any concerns or questions about your roof. You've had severe weather in your area, or if you haven't had a roof inspection in a while, maybe you just have neglected that's okay. Leave it to the professionals at Heart Grove Roofing at heartgroveroofing.com. Offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. If you need a roof inspection, they're offering a free roof inspection. So reach out today at heartgroveroofing.com. Stevie Lee, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Man, I'm back here cracking up from CJ, bro. Listen,
Omar.
Omar, he went back to The Wire, bro. That show came out before you were born.
That's a great show.
That's quality.
I just watch all my classics. That was
fantastic show. But you know what? I am decultured because when y'all showed the clip, and I was like, man, that sounded like John Wick. like John Wick, somebody killed his dog and he's about to go get somebody's, right? And then CJ comes up like, that's Omar. I was like, damn, that's better than John Wick. That was a good reference, CJ. That was awesome.
Hey, the youngin will surprise you once in a while.
Every now and then, right?
Squirrel, baby.
Hey, we call him the prodigy for a reason. But Stevie, first of all, what are your thoughts about the Arch quote? You were just, I'm sure, backstage. You got a chance to hear Arch Manning's mentality now, with them being the number 1 team in the country. They don't feel like they have the target on them. They feel like this, their mentality is they're taking the red dot and pointing it at everybody else.
Man, I have never thought of it that way, and he flipped it, and I think that's genius, man. I think that's that got me fired up. Coach was yelling, I was yelling. So, but that's a great mentality, a great way of putting that, man, because if you got the target on your back, that means you're running, right? And so we need to go after these guys, come out, get off the bus and let them know that we're going to win this game, stepping off the bus, So you walk in with a swagger, not arrogance, but a swagger, and you go out, you execute all week in practice so you can execute in the game. And I feel like that's what they're doing, man. I feel real confident. Coach is exactly right, man. There's a vibrant jazz about the city right now. In Austin, Texas, I was down in East Austin today, man. Everybody's smiling, got pep in their step. It's a Monday, y'all, and but it's game week Monday. That's what's the smell of the grass in the air and everything, man. It's just a vibrant time in Austin right now. So I can't wait for this game, even though I'm gonna be locked up in a volleyball gym with my daughter in Houston. So I'll have it on my phone.
Nice. A lot of talk that the D line for Texas is going to play a pivotal role, as they always do, but especially in this game, the secondary is going to have their hands full, Stevie, trying to neutralize the best wide receiving core in all of college football, the best offensive player arguably in college football in Jeremiah Smith. You're going to need your D line to hold up again in the run game without necessarily being able to load that box, because you're going to have those safeties deep like you did last season, kind of have that umbrella over the defense to make sure you're not giving up any of those big chunk yardage plays. And you don't want to leave a DB on an island with Jeremiah Smith. Sure. What are your thoughts about how you think the defensive line is going to perform in this matchup on the road versus Ohio State?
Man, like I've been saying all camp, man. I mean, it's the defensive line has been phenomenal this whole camp, and now you're going live bullets now, right? And so I think that they'll be fired up and they'll be fine, because our last game out was against these guys and we didn't do very well. But what we did well was bracketed those receivers, and the secondary played well. And I think our secondary might even be even better right now. I mean, we lost Jade. Yeah, I know, Rod. I see the face, but we just got some fast guys back there, and now we have Coach Akina. Coach Akina can teach you where to be, how to be, where your eyes need to go. He's such a fundamental type coach that if you got any kind of speed, he's gonna get you to the NFL. So and he did. He got a bunch of guys up there into the NFL. I feel really, really good about our defense as a whole. The defensive line is going to get after these guys, and the DBs are going to bracket just long enough so the D-line can get after them. And y'all asked me, what was the over-under last week? Someone said 4, the over-under 3 on sacks.
Sacks, yeah, 3.5. I think was what we're talking about. 3.5.
And y'all all said under, and I said, hell yeah, we going over.
You heard it.
Huh?
I mean, it would be huge if Texas has more than that. And I wanted to ask you kind of about that, because look, we've talked about big road games, Texas at Ann Arbor, Texas in Tuscaloosa. Defense has come to play, and for a big part of that, it's been that defensive line. We talk about offensive lines traveling, right? A good defense travels, a good offensive line travels. For a defensive line, for that defensive front seven, how important is it to come out, one, cohesively, and two, with the communication? We talk about the back end. We know that's going to be imperative, Stevie, but for these big road games, what's that communication like up front, where you've got to make sure that everybody up front is, sound gap assignment-wise?
On the same page. I hear you, man, but I think that, that's the easiest position to be connected with. I think
is that front?
It's the front, the defensive front.
Okay.
That's what you're asking about, defensive front, correct? Yeah, the defensive front. The hardest ones early in the season to be connected with is the offensive front, right? So, we can get down there and confuse Ohio State's offensive line real easily with a bunch of, ins and outs and things like that. But I think it is very important to be connected and things like that, but it's just also when the ball snaps, you just play football. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are big enough and fast enough to just go play football right now. So I think that, let's see how they do in the beginning of the game. And if we do need to throw some games in there with some tackles and ends and linebackers and kind of zone blitzes and things like that, we can work on that. But I think that these guys can pin their ears back and just go in the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not a DC and I'm not making $5 million a year. So
yeah, no, but they got to stop the run. Like the basic, everybody else got the basic place you're going to start on the road. Can you stop the run? And if Texas can stop the run, with a first-year starting quarterback, Julian Sand, going up against that pass rush, Texas is in a real good place.
Yeah.
But that's what, but because I'm not going to disrespect CJ Donaldson. He's a good player, the transfer running back from West Virginia. James Peoples, the other running back, and he's from Texas, right? James,
San Antonio, was it Memorial veteran?
Yeah, so he got a little chip on his shoulder, I'm sure, because of that, going up against Texas and from Texas. But last year, Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, and even seeing in the league, Travion Henderson, they was a little different. And I think they averaged together combined over 5 yards per rush versus Texas. But I mean, those guys, like I said, those guys to me were, I think, built different than this combination of Peoples and CJ Donaldson. So I think Texas, I feel good about Texas versus the run game.
Yeah, also CJ, camp, they've been working with those linebackers too. And so if you fit in your gap as a defensive tackle, my linebackers are fitting as well and filling those holes in. But you're right, Rod, about the run game. They're going to try to start running it first so their quarterback can get comfortable in the pocket. But it's I have the utmost confidence in this line, the front seven, all across the line and the linebackers on this team, man. But let's talk next week and see how it goes. But I have great confidence right now.
That's a dangerous feeling.
I don't know if I'm gonna. I know you got them going, 12-0. So I guess I'll just ask you to give a score prediction. Are you giving score predictions?
I'm not giving. I never give a score prediction. That's when I get bit in the ass. So I can't do that, man. But
well, let me ask you this, Stevie. A lot of points, a little points, normal amount of points. How you feeling on the pace of the play of game? Because look, I think, and Rob, we filmed something today that will air later in the week, and I won't give it away too much, but I think this is going to be a really ugly game. I do. I think the defenses will dominate. I think both front sevens are very talented. I think that there's a lot of turnover on both offensive lines, a lot of inexperience at the quarterback positions. We've talked about all the weapons, but all those weapons require, one, protection up front, and two, a good pass to be thrown to get the ball to a Ryan Wingo or Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate. I think, again, you're going to see early in this game, Ryan Day, Steve Sarkisian, they kind of approach this by saying, hey, my quarterback will not lose me this game. He might not win it for me right away, but he's not going to put me in a position to lose this game. A lot of simple short throws early. And on top of that, I think he's going to say, hey, let my defense go work, both guys. And that means maybe not as many early aggressive fourth down looks or third down play calls as we've seen with Steve Sarkisian in other games, because field position on the road, hey, that's pretty important real estate. So I think a pretty ugly game. I think, and I say ugly because I like offense. I like points. I like big, flashy plays. But something in the mid-30s, low 40s is kind of where I'm looking in terms of combined points by the end of it.
Combined points? No. So I got a little bit of a different
approach. Why does that not surprise me?
I got a little bit of a different approach, man. I think that our defense played very well against Ohio State. And in the beginning of the game, Sark is going to fill them out with Arch and the offense. And then I think he opens it up. Second half and let Arch do what Arch do. Roll him out and let him use his feet some. I think the kid is tough. I really do. And I don't think that you have to have I don't think you have to be that much. You always got to be mindful of your quarterback getting injured, and I don't want to use that word, but we're just talking. But it's less mindful than the quarterback that we had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think you'll unleash Arch a little bit?
No question. All right. Yeah.
On the big stage? Okay. No
question. We got to get our lip, dude. That game hurt last year. That last semifinal game. And I'll tell y'all this: I was sitting in AT&T Cowboy Stadium, and I was sitting with the coaches' wives. So I was watching it a little bit different. And when you're sitting with and coach, about this. If you're sitting with someone that's like, they're not just a fan invested in the game. They are. I make the joke of, these coaches get bonuses every game they get. So some of these wives had already spent that money, right?
You know that.
And then they end up losing the game. So I was watching it a little bit differently, and that game hurt, for those people, those coaches, those players, and that's all they had to think about this offseason was that game, and they're gonna come out fired up. CJ, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be an ugly game. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun getting our lick back.
Man, so sounds like Steve is describing not a blowout, but like Texas gonna win this thing comfortably.
But he's not going to give us a score.
Yeah, all y'all that's hearing me right now, just hit me up in my DMs on there it is, Stevie Lee 65 on Instagram, and we can talk about it during the game. Because I'm gonna be celebrating all the way home.
Okay. What quarter are you gonna start celebrating? That's what I want to know. What are you talking about here? You talking about you gonna be celebrating like at halftime, like the third?
Whenever my daughter is done with her volleyball game, I'm gonna start drinking.
Okay. All right. That's right. You're gonna be watching, you're gonna be multitasking while you do it. You already said that. All right. Well, thank you, Stevie. I appreciate you taking the time here on Monday night to join us. And thanks for being so accommodating, brother. We appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. This is an awesome time slot. I like it. So y'all, thank y'all for still having me. I appreciate it, man. Hook 'em.
Yeah. All right. Hook 'em. Have a good night.
Stevie
Lee, lifetime Longhorn, my former teammate, courtesy of our good friends over at Hartgrove Roofing. All right. I want to get to a couple of super chats, and we'll get to the Sark opening statement from his media availability earlier today. So please, Matthew, if you wouldn't mind having that available. But we'll get to a couple of super chats here while my man Matthew works behind the scenes because we don't want you guys to wait around. We appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. Sailor Joe here says, seeing line movement, ESPN are split between Ohio State has the better defense, and this game may be a blowout in favor of Texas. What are your thoughts? Whoa. Split between Ohio State. The Ohio State has the better. I don't know. I would not believe that. They have the best defensive player. That's for damn sure. No question about that. Caleb Downs in the entire matchup. But just my opinion, I think Texas has the better defense because they have elite players, or at least All-American caliber players at every level of the defense. Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, and those guys are considered, those two, the best players at their positions too. So I don't know. Anyway, but line movement, what are your thoughts? CJ, I know you pay attention to a lot of what's happening out there in Vegas. What are your thoughts about the line movement?
Yeah, line's down to about 1.5 in favor of Ohio State. It opened up about 3.5. So it's not much. 2 points isn't much, but over the course of a few weeks recently, it has been dropping pretty significantly towards the Longhorns here. So does that mean anything? I mean, we see line movement all the time, late in the buildup for big games, but it does kind of give you that indication that more big money is coming in on the side of the Longhorns when they're given a few points there. So if you want to read into it. I personally do not think it matters one bit. But hey, Vegas has the bright lights and the big buildings for a reason. It's because they're right more times than not. Maybe I should read into it a little bit more. Yeah, that's why I'm not winning as often.
All right. Thanks, Sailor Joe. We appreciate that. Kate Stewart here also with a super chat says, speaking of Stevie Lee, who are we expecting to line up at both D tackle spots? First defensive snap on Saturday, key position for Saturday. I totally agree. I think Ohio State believes the strength of their offensive line is in the interior of that offensive line, and that may be a question mark for Texas. Coach, out of all the guys they brought in, Travis Shaw, Murad Watson, Cole Brevard, they brought in as well. I mean, Hero Canoe is another guy they brought in earlier via the transfer portal to shore things up on that defensive line. Alex January is a guy I think is also going to step up for them. Who do you think among those guys is going to end up being the D tackles, who are the two, I guess maybe four that are the main?
Yeah, well, yeah, they're certainly going to play a lot. But I look to see Cole Brevard and Alex January probably go out with the ones. But like I said, there's so much unknown there. We think that Alex January has a tremendous ceiling, but we'll find out this week. you know, but I do think I'm looking for he and Cole Brevard to start the game. Just a guess.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm an Alex January guy. I think, I think it's time for him to kind of take that next step. If you look at the recent history, and Texas has been as successful, and their recipe right now for developing D tackles is as good as anybody in the country, considering they've had 2 drafted each of the last 3 drafts. It's usually a guy that kind of comes up through, the kind of the grassroots. The guys they brought in via the transfer portal have been great. I mean, and they've been, I think, really, I think key in Texas being able to really shore up their interior D line. But the guys who have become stars at that position, they've been the guys who've come up through the system. And Alex January right now is on track to be that next guy. So I'm expecting a lot from Alex January. No question. No matter who's aligned with him, to Coach's point, I think January is the guy. I'm like, no, January and somebody else.
I've kind of adopted that mindset too. I think it'll be Cole Brevard next to January. But how quickly does a Travis Shaw come in? How quickly does a Hero Canoe or former All-American, freshman All-American Marad Watson? I think he would right now be your 3rd guy into this rotation. But Texas, again, with so many different options. And again, we're not even really mentioning Lavon Johnson, who was a big piece of Maryland's defensive line a year ago. There's 6 deep before you get into your true freshman. And those guys are going to play. They're too big, they're too physical, they're too talented to keep off the field. But early in this season against a big-time opponent like Ohio State, will they see the field? Probably not. It's going to be interesting, but I do look back to a year ago, this game in the Cotton Bowl. Alex January played perhaps the most that he's played all season long in this game. That's a good indication of what's to come this upcoming year when they look at him and say, oh, that you're basically the only returning face that we're aware of, right? Melvin Hills, we know that he's coming back, but he didn't see on the field all that often. Alex January, they know. And I think they're putting all their trust in him, and for good reason. He's going to take a big, big, big step forward.
I like that. Next super chat, here's a Texas boy. Texas boy says, Art said, are you a wolf or a sheep? Let me hear you howl. I'm sure it's a training day reference. Did I get it right? Did we get it right? That's got to be.
I don't know that. I don't know that one.
I believe it's training day. If I'm off here, I apologize. Then I just totally killed the joke or killed the reference. But I believe it's training day. My man Denzel Washington. Have you? I know you're well cultured, CJ. You just made a damn good, reference with the Omar bit there. That was great. I think everybody respects that. I don't know if everybody watches The Wire, but The Wire is one of the all-time great shows out there. Have you seen Training Day?
I haven't seen it. I know. That's where I stubbed my toe on that one.
Damn.
Nice job with your reference.
That's on that list. Are we making a list for CJ? Coach, what you said he should put No Country for Old Men on the list.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Oh, yeah. Someone asked me in the chat earlier. I said, I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah. Just when you get some time, now it's football season, so CJ's got no time at all.
All right. My off-season movie list is starting day one of football season.
What we're going to do is you can stop working so much and watch great movies. Don't just watch any movies. You got to watch the great movies, like the all-time greats. So what we'll do is we'll come up with a list, because whether it be references by Coach or me or Stevie or CJ or whoever, or the chat or any of you guys.
I've got it going.
Yeah, boom. We'll make the list, and then in the off season, we'll get a CJ review. Like, just have CJ come on and review the film once he gets a chance to watch whatever we put on the recommendation list. There you go. Boom. All right, we're gonna turn it into a bit. Boom. You're welcome.
That's what I'll do. When I travel for away games, I'll watch one on the flight or whenever I'm traveling back, and then I'll give a quick 2 or 3 minute review.
Oh, that's good. You know what? I'll pay for that. Actually, I'm serious. I'll pay for that. Are you watching through Apple or wherever you're watching through Amazon? I'll pay for that.
I got my suspicious websites that I could watch the movies on.
No, you deserve that, CJ. I'm gonna get you some gift cards. So
okay.
You just own your flights and everything. You traveling, you can just watch really good movies, and then we can benefit by hearing your review of them later on. I love this idea. This is money. All right. Okay. Before we get back to the super chats, let me thank one of our sponsors for the night before we get too off the rails here. This is usually how it goes. Let's thank our friends over at Von Lane before we move on. And the Von Lane experience now, it was a part of our Texas tour with our good friends over at Third and Longhorn, and it was fantastic. It was great. Everybody was, thanking me for recommending Von Lane. I didn't hook it up. Actually, Bobby hooked it up, and our good friends at Von Lane, they were more than happy to help with the travel to in between the major Texas cities. And we talk about this all the time, that if you are traveling to Houston, you are traveling to Austin or San Antonio or Fort Worth, Dallas, it can be a bit of a hassle and a bit of a toss-up. Do you want to deal with the airport chaos, the general high stress level of any airport experience, hoping your flight isn't delayed? Or do you brace yourself for hours behind the wheel, and then you battle traffic and road rage, and you burn the entire day of productivity while you're behind the wheel? Well, the third option is a much better option. It's our friends over at Von Lane. You arrive at a luxury hotel terminal. No TSA lines, no long-term parking lots, just a seamless boarding experience. It takes minutes, not hours. You settle into one of just 22 oversized, plush, first-class leather seats with 140-degree recline, so you can just sit back and relax. They got leg rest. They got a cabin attendant who is serving complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips a full meal. If you need to relax, pretty simple. Just lean back and enjoy the ride. But if you want to stay productive, there's high-speed Wi-Fi and power at every seat. Fall travel is booking fast. And so you reserve your spot now. They got October trips to Texas versus OU in Dallas. They can take care of you there. F1 and ACL in Austin, or college football weekends in Nashville, Dallas, Fort Worth, or out in Houston. Von Lane connects all of those cities and more. Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Nashville, Atlanta, Memphis, now Knoxville, the Woodlands, and Plano. Visit vonlane.com. Use that code OTF25. You'll save $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane Elevated Regional Bus Transportation. And like I said, my former teammates, Jay Hills took it, and Fozzie Whitaker was on the Von Lane. Bobby took the Von Lane, and it was like I said, a lot of guys now I think are going to be in the future more willing to take the Von Lane on their business trips or trips to go visit family in the state of Texas, or even outside the state of Texas in this region. So thank you to vonlane.com. All right, back to the super chats. Let's go. Denver Dunbar says, Will Howard was familiar with Texas. I think that was one of their biggest advantages last year, is I got the Horns by double digits. Will Howard did. I mean, how many games had Will Howard play versus Texas? Like 4?
Yeah, 4, started 3.
Yeah, that is true though. That was a lot of familiarity. That was not for Will Howard in that situation as a veteran quarterback. I went back and watched the game actually, and he, for the most part, made all the right decisions in that game. And they didn't ask him to do too much. I think he had 2 passes over 20 yards down the field. Jeremiah Smith, it may have been both of them actually to Jeremiah Smith, if I'm not mistaken. I know one of them definitely was. Been the one that Makuba wasn't really good position on. But they didn't ask him to do too much. Most of what he did worked the short to intermediate area. In that 5 to 15, 5 to 20 yard range, coach. Right in between 5 and right between 20 yards. And they did a good job of working that area for a lot of their big plays for Will Howard. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But a lot of people right now feel confident that Texas has the talent advantage in this matchup overall, and that may be why you're predicting double digits. Like Texas will overwhelm them at what point?
I'd be surprised by double digits, but Texas has enough talent defensively, I think, to really make life difficult for Julian Sain. And if that's the case, look, I think for Ohio State and the way that they want to approach this game, if you're Julian Sain, we go back to riding the Von Lane, right? Ohio State's the Von Lane. Julian Sain sitting up there in the driver's seat, but he doesn't have, he can't control the gas or the brake, right? He can't control, what. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. What's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing?
Oh, gear shift transmission.
Yeah, he can't control what gear they're in. Yeah. Sorry, I've never driven.
I think you're trying to drive a bus, imaginary bus there. Yeah.
Point being, Julian Sain's whole deal. he's just there to keep the boat, or geez, man, the bus on the road, right? Steer the bus. He can't control anything else.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. He's not going to be given too much on his plate to derail what Ohio State wants to do offensively, or to win the football game in his own hands, unless they absolutely have to. And if that's the case, I think Texas defensively saying, "Oh yeah, like come on, first time starter against us, yeah, good luck." I think it's going to be very vanilla for Julian Sand to start. Now, we'll see then if they need to get into the fifth gear, right, Coach?
Right.
They might need to, like the movie Speed. What if it's just out of control? Okay, I don't know. Do you get, the Speed reference there? CJ?
No, I got to put that on the list.
Damn it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, come on. If we talk about bus analogies and bus, examples, that we got a Speed would have been kind of the natural, I think, movie reference to throw out there. Anyway.
Sling Blade. Put Sling Blade on the list. Have you seen it, Rod?
I don't think I've seen Sling Blade, actually.
Oh man.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen Sling Blade, Coach. I don't know if I can vouch for you on that one.
Definitely.
I don't know if I can vouch for you on the Sling Blade. Okay. Let's get back to the super chats here, because I don't want to keep the super chats waiting. All right, but I like the bus analogy there with Sand. No, you're right. You gotta
keep it between the lines. Just keep it between the lines.
Exactly. Just keep the damn thing on the road, and don't let it go too far off road. And I'm with you. They're not gonna put too much on his plate, but will vanilla work against the Texas defense? I don't think so. I think you're gonna have to try to give them a schematic advantage, a strategic, schematic, conceptual advantage somehow against that Texas defense. And that's going to cause for them to throw in some complexity to do so. You're going to be vanilla, like Texas defense versus vanilla. I think they'll eat them alive. They're going to have to get a little complex. They're going to throw something in there to help give them, like I said, a schematic advantage or some type of strategic advantage, whatever that may be. And maybe it's putting him on the move. Even Sark said today, I was a little surprised. He said, no, this kid can move around. I think he can. I think he has functional mobility. Sark was very confident. Of his ability. Maybe that's escapability, but maybe you got him on the move. I'm not sure what that is. All right, Sugarcane Daddy, not the crop. Says Ryan Day, thank you for the super chat, by the way. We appreciate that. Very kind of you. Says Ryan Day just won a natty. He has to beat Michigan this year. Do you think they're going to be as hungry as Texas on the field? Coach, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've probably been in that situation before. What are your thoughts about?
I don't know that there will be as hungry as Texas, simply because I don't think you can be as hungry as Texas. Knocking on the door last 2 years, the frustration of losing your last game to Ohio State. I don't think that Ryan Day is going to be, nor the Buckeyes will be distracted by Michigan for this first game. I don't think it has any bearing at all. But after that does bring up a good question, Sugarcane Daddy. After you've won that national championship, do you get Rod?
I just love the way you addressed them, actually.
Do you get a little bit, kind of content, like I'm going to eat a little more steak because I deserve it, I mean, do you still have that fire in your belly, that Texas has? Yeah.
We'll see just how good of a motivator Ryan Day is, because what was it after, 2022 when Georgia went back to back? Remember, they beat TCU by 100. And all their players got on the mics saying, no one believed in us. Like, what are you talking about? It's because from the very beginning, Kirby Smart had that team thinking, y'all don't have a shot this year. That was last year's team that won the national championship. And while they came into the season preseason number one, that's still that target on their back, the hunted kind of mindset was, okay, we have to go prove it to everybody. We have to stay hungry. Can Ryan Day do that with this Ohio State team? I don't know. I don't think we've seen it from Ryan Day before, but also I'm not really a believer in Ryan Day. So can he do it without his two big coordinators from a year ago? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting because with like LSU, think about when they won it recently. I mean, it was obviously at that point everybody in the program felt fat, happy, and full. Right? Then they had kind of lost that as a program, whether or maybe it was Edo, whatever it was. They did not have that same insatiable appetite to be a champion. But Kirby was able to still instill it. Right? When Kirby's guys wanted, Georgia still wanted it. And Georgia still plays like they still want it. Texas knows that. Georgia plays like you're gonna have to come take it from us. And we're like, oh yeah, we coming in. Yeah, we coming. We're bringing Arch with us. But that's how they play like a program. And when Michigan won, and Michigan put up much of a fight, like they felt like we just won a national title. We're fat, happy, and full. So yeah, what kind of Ohio State usually is more like what Kirby Smart has done and what Nick Saban was able to do. Now I don't know if I'm not saying Ryan Day is on that level and those type of guys, but he's at that type of program where that's expected. It's expected that you do have an insatiable hunger to meet the standard, even when the standard was we just won a title, and then fans are like, yeah, then when's the next one? And we're gonna celebrate, but we still thinking about the next title. And Longhorn fans, will be in that conversation too, I think, very, very soon, if Steve Sarkisian keeps down the path that he's on right now. So I like that. I mean, you're right. Ryan Day, can he motivate them to still be that kind of program? And because they have the talent. Talent's not an issue. There's tons of talent there. Yeah. It's stockpiled. All right. That's a good one on Sugar Cane Daddy, not the crop. Todd Lacey, thank you, Todd. We appreciate it. He says, will PK implement zone blitzes in this game, Coach? When you have the rushers, we do. He said, it only makes sense to do so and give saying false reads. Thoughts, Coach? What are your thoughts about zone blitz?
I think you definitely have it, on your call list, but don't pull it out unless you need it. I mean, I think if Sayan starts having some success against us, you want to start throwing some stuff at him, and maybe occasionally. Anyway, I just don't know how much the Akina effect is going to have on our blitz packages. I would think we're going to be in some more man coverage, don't you think, Rod? And we pretty much are,
Yep. I wonder in this game, I don't know. In this game, I wonder if they're willing to take that chance as much, because if there is man to be, maybe it's 2-man, like man under with two deep safeties, 2 high safeties. Because I went and rewatched the game, and they're playing 2 high shells and 2 deep safeties close to 60% of the time. And last year, Texas actually played predominantly more single high safeties last year, but not in that game, because they were going up against, with the best wide receiving core in college football. That's also the case again. So when I look at it, honestly, Todd, I think because it's two ways to approach it. Coach is basically saying, Coach, let me know if I kind of, obviously don't have it right here. I misconstrue what you say. But I think Coach is saying until Julian Sang proves that, he is a quarterback that's going to hurt you in any particular way, like you don't have to take a lot of chances going into there. You can get organic pressure because you got guys that can just beat their guys straight up. Your secondary with, winning the numbers advantage, keeping the top on the defense, you should be able to mimic or at least replicate what you did last season, which is hold Jeremiah Smith to his, what I think, worst performance, right? It had to be of the season. And you ain't got to take a lot of risks. And if he is starting to, make some plays, then you're saying, Coach, that's when you start getting a little bit more exotic. That's when we'll start getting a little more creative, right?
Yeah, I certainly expect us to give some blitz looks.
Yeah,
I just don't know how many of them will be zone blitzes. And really, a zone blitz is a good idea against them, I think. I mean, that certainly could confuse a quarterback, but it also lets you keep 2 guys on Jeremiah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Go ahead, CJ.
Those zone blitzes to me, for a young quarterback making his first ever start against this Texas defense, Coach, the way it should appear to him is like he's walking through one of those haunted houses with all the mirrors, the little funky houses at the carnivals, and he just doesn't know where to turn. and he's just bumping his head. He doesn't know how to get out of it, and it's just confusion. That's how it should be with all of the chess pieces, Rod, that we've broken down throughout the last 6 months of off-season football. Just start moving these guys around. Make him identify who's coming, who's not, who's a threat, who's not. Can he do that day one as a starter? That's a lot to ask of anybody, let alone a guy making, again, his first ever start as a college football quarterback.
Yeah. Do you allow him to get into a rhythm, or do you just take away the rhythm like initially? Do you try to disrupt the rhythm early of a young quarterback, or is your focus of, no, let's just see if he can make some plays against us? If he makes some plays, then we'll get aggressive. Or do you start aggressive?
I say you start aggressive. I say you don't have a chance to get comfortable. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want doubt from the word go. I think CJ made a great point. I haven't thought about it in those terms, but yeah, I think that's great game plan. And
now on the flip side, Coach, I mean, what will Texas be susceptible of Ohio State? It's going to be screens, missiles, something to get the ball out quick, jailbreaks, whatever it is, where it doesn't think a whole lot up top for the quarterback, but it, moves bodies around and puts defenses at a disadvantage because obviously it's designed to beat blitzes and extra guys coming. I think you see more of that as well from Ohio State.
Yeah, it's safe. Yeah, they're going to be safe. They're not going to try to do. And I don't know. I don't know that we'll be quite as conservative offensively with Arch, because Arch has a lot of experience in this offense, even though it necessarily hasn't all been on the field. But those high percentage passes, the people that can the team that can continually move the ball and get first downs, not necessarily blow the top off of it, but is going to have, is going to have a chance to win the game, in my opinion. I hate to sound like a coach talk, but if you can do that and maybe not have a lot of big plays, but if you can limit explosive plays, I give our defense the nod on that deal, because you got to be perfect. If you're going to move the ball slowly and methodically down the field, I don't see many teams doing that against Texas.
No, I'm with you.
Double-digit play drive against Texas sounds unlikely.
You really earned it if that's the case.
You don't have. I'm with Coach. You're going to have to find a way to get a chunk yardage play against Texas defense, and that is no small feat. That's pretty tough too. All right, Kate with a super chat. Thank you, Kate. We appreciate the super chat. Says, what does Taft's role look like this year with a healthy McDonald and Derek Williams possibly being on the field at the same time, and with the Littleton hype, Grayson Littleton, the freshman? Is there any chance his role is diminished some? That's a good question, Kate. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think his role is diminished at all. I do think when Derek Williams is completely healthy, you have 3 starters at the safety position. And he is still, the leader in that secondary from what I have heard and gathered and what I talked to Coach Aquino about. I mean, he's the guy. So he's the guy that's leading, the meetings in, away from the field. And he's the guy that kind of gets them hyped up, even, going on the field and before practice. I mean, from what I've observed, he's that guy. So I don't think his role is diminished there, but there's no question you now have the luxury of 3 starting safeties whenever Derek Williams is ready to go. And the Littleton hype, we'll see how real it is if he plays versus Ohio State.
Yeah, good point.
That's all we need to know, right? If you got a freshman playing in that game versus that wide receiving core in a secondary, then he's the truth.
Yeah.
I still there. This brings me to something I want to talk about, though, Kate. There's going to be a question mark in the secondary in that game, right? Are they going to have Gilmore at the corner opposite Malik Muhammad, and then it'll be whoever the nickel is?
That's where I would think.
Right? Or is it, they Gilmore at the nickel, which I'm with you. I think the first one is more likely. And then it's, we're going to put a young Kobe Black over there at the corner spot opposite Malik Muhammad. And it's like, well, that's still a new starter. So that's a question mark.
Yeah.
Or it's you put 3 safeties out there, McDonald, Tav, Derek Williams in that capacity. And then you got three safeties, but going up against that wide receiving core, they better all be able to cover too, or that will be exposed as well. So if you're Ohio State, I think that's going to be one of the easy things to look at where they're going to try to exploit early is what's the question mark in the secondary? Oh, Grayson, you got a freshman starting. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Or hey, Kobe Black. Oh, he's a new starter. Let's go after him. They're going to go after somebody in that secondary. They just don't know who. I don't know what Texas is how they're going to approach it in that first game yet.
It's going to be interesting to see where Jeremiah Smith lines up to start. He's more an outside guy, but if you start seeing him moved around to the interior, maybe some motions to get a matchup. Okay, now if you're Pete Kwiatkowski or Johnny Nansen or Dwayne Akina, you're sitting there saying, okay, I see who they're trying to target. Who are they going after here specifically? And my money tells me that if Grayson Littleton starts the game, I'm saying Jeremiah Smith, come stand on this hash mark and run as fast as you can down the field. Mm-hmm. Let's see if the kid's got it. And, hey, Texas fans have a lot of confidence. They should be because he's done great. But that's still your first ever game on the field against the most talented player in all of college football. If you're Ohio State, you have to find a way to exploit that.
Yeah. Oh, man, that would be something if they put him out there. That would, but it would mean that he is definitely a prodigy. I call CJ a prodigy all the time, but he would be in that category then as well. And I mean it, CJ. How about you? Alessandro with a super chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. It says 38-17, Texas with an Anthony Hill scoop and score. Damn, that's how you blow somebody out. You need a non-offensive touchdown. Yeah. If that is the case, dude, they're gonna be celebrating in Austin. They're gonna be in that fountain again, the one by the tower. The kids gonna be in the fountain doing all type of crazy stuff. CJ might be down, might get back. When he get back from there, he might go down the fountain and still be partying. That's how great it's gonna be if they beat him that bad. All right. Ed B with a super chat. Thank you, Ed B. He says, Rod B, that was me yesterday singing your name, leaving Austin third Longhorn. I swear I thought I heard something, and then I might have turned around, Ed B. I apologize. I did not mean to try to big time here. I hope that wasn't I hope I didn't look right at you and then Jet, I swear I thought I might have heard something, but I was in a rush too. I was trying to get back to record something. So I apologize, Ed B. My bad. All right. Next time I'll have more time. I apologize about that. I wasn't trying to big time you, I promise. Jefferson, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Says, love you, OTF crew. We love you too, Jefferson. We appreciate that. Hearing pundits talk about Arch dealing with serious away noise for the first time in the shoe. Am I tripping, or do we not have in-helmet communications in college football now? Coach, what are your thoughts about?
Yeah, he will. He will. But I don't think they're noise suppressing, because he has to be able to hear, what's going on. A lot of times a lineman will point to where the Mike linebacker is. Sometimes the back will tell where he is. But yeah, I guarantee you they've been playing a loud music and crowd noise. They will be playing it all week, and they've got everything down to hand signs, so that you expect in games like this the worst. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nobody can hear me say a word. That's the worst thing that can happen. So here's what we're going to do. And everybody's got their communication that they communicate with the lineman. It might be a tap on the knee. It might be a tap on the hip. It might be a tap on the butt. I mean, it can all three can mean something different, So there's a lot of nonverbal communication going on out there on the field.
That's interesting. I was going to ask you about silent counts, but I do know Texas about 3 weeks ago started working a little bit more in a huddle. And look, quite frankly, we haven't seen many huddles from a Texas offense. They did it at Michigan a year ago, maybe because they were just known for stealing signs. I don't know.
Who was what's the guy's name from
Connor
Michigan?
Stallings?
Yeah, they were saying that we need to put him in a UT jersey on the sideline before the game.
See, that would be pretty good. But Coach, my question is, like, silent counts. to the layman? How does that work on the road? And how does, the entire offense sync up to a silent count?
Yeah. Well, we used to have our offensive linemen would hold hands. The guards and the tackles would hold hands so that the tackles would know when the ball was snapped. Obviously, the guards can see it, the tackles can't. And so, that's one way to do it. You can't. Well, I guess now you can kind of go on movement, because if the defense, I guess they have to be across the neutral zone, though. So, yeah, you can't go by that. But you're not going to be able to hear the quarterback. I mean, I don't know. He might be able to hear a hand clap, but you have to be able to communicate non-verbally, and I'm sure that they will not let that be a problem for them.
It's interesting.
All right, good stuff there. Thank you, Jefferson, for the super chat. Beard with the super chat says, add Blazing Saddles to see movie list. Also, he needs to track down that cute gal in the Von Lane ad. Get busy, young man.
Beard, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the movie recommendation. Unfortunately, football season's here, so the girls are gone. We'll come back, January 20th, right after the national championship.
That's
done.
fantastic.
No more dates. Sorry, Mom.
There you go.
Get busy, young man.
Yeah, good job, Beard. Blazing Saddles, a good one.
Blazing Saddles is classic. That is true.
I cannot remember that actor's name, but he's one of the best actors.
Yeah,
we got the list updated.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He's a great actor. Great actor.
Is this which one?
Yeah, Cleavon Little. That's him.
Is this movie in black and white?
It's a very funny. It's a Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder. It's the first, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first time I ever heard someone flaxulating on a big screen, sitting around a campfire after they eat a bunch of beans. I think that was this movie.
Oh, so it's historic.
Yeah. And also Alex Karras. Y'all don't remember him. Alex Karras was
the football player, right?
all-pro defensive lineman, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, he punches out a horse going into a bar. He just looks at the horse and just pow, and knocks the horse completely down. Yeah.
Good. See, there you go. Whenever you got some time, CJ. See.
Okay.
And what's a movie without Slim Pickens? He's a character named Slim Pickens. He's in the movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a full review. I'm telling you, when I watch all these movies, I'll have a full review. I'll have a rating out of 10. And good. Joshua says it's in color, so I will watch this movie. Otherwise,
that's a rule of CJ. CJ ain't gonna watch nothing that's black and white. He ain't going back that far. No, not happening. All right, one last super chat here. Hoosier Horns. Thank you, Hoosier. Says, how much different does last game look if Trey Moore picks the fifth throw of the game that went through his fingers for completion? I think I remember what you're talking about. I think I do. I gotta go back and try to watch it. I mean, that game could have come down to like 3 or 4, 5 different plays. Honestly,
yeah.
I mean, think about the right before half. That's the play I was thinking about. I mean, Texas that just got momentum. Game was tied up. Seemed like Texas was in a great spot, going into the half, and against. I want to say they were in the NASCAR package. Actually, I was bragging about the NASCAR package. They were in the NASCAR package when they gave up that screen to Travion Henderson. 70 whatever yards for a touchdown.
One of the few times it bit back.
I mean, that was probably the worst play in the NASCAR package all year. But so it wasn't just that play, how much different it could have been. That's that game, because of really how talented both of those teams were. I think Sark said 26 players or something like that. From some crazy number from both those teams from that game ended up getting drafted. But it's when you start looking at it overall, ultimately, game of inches, man. I mean, goal line. There were like 3 plays on the goal line there, right? For Texas, that the game really could have come down to. It could have been a number of different play calls by Sark. I'm sure he's probably going through that in his mind 100 times. The play calls.
Yeah, no doubt.
how different they could have been to toss as opposed to
anything else.
Yeah, probably so. All right, thank you, Hoosier Horns. I appreciate that as well. All right, let's thank another sponsor before we move on. Let's thank our friends over at South Point Dodge before we move on to answer a couple more questions. I want to also we'll get to Sark's opening statement from today. But let's thank our friends at southpointdodge.com. You can score an easy extra point this season when you get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge has over 600 vehicles in stock right now, including that all-new Ram 1500, proven to last, folks. So whether you need a car or a truck, whether you need something new or something used, maybe you need a trade-in, our friends over at South Point Dodge, they pride themselves on being Austin's automotive everything. So whatever you need, you can check it out at southpointdodge.com. You can go see them in person off of I-35, or you can go online, make it easy on yourself, and check out their fantastic inventory at southpointdodge.com. Score an easy extra point this season and get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge, southpointdodge.com. All right. Thank you very much for all the super chats. We really appreciate that from all you guys, and we'll try to get to answer some more questions before the show is over. But first, let's hear from Steve Sarkisian. We do have a couple of minutes of his opening statement from his media availability earlier today. So I want to hear from the coach, and then get from our coach's thoughts about what Steve Sarkisian had to say to the media today at the media availability, which CJ was at, by the way.
Epic matchup when you think about 1 versus 2 in at least one of the two major polls for the first game of the season is great for college football, in my opinion. As much as I'm going to talk about the rankings don't matter, which I believe that, but I do think for college football, the fanfare, the excitement around this game, I think is great for our sport. And the fact that we have 3 top 10 matchups this weekend, I think is great for college football in general. But beyond the rankings, these are 2 really good teams. Ton of respect for Ohio State, ton of respect for Ryan Day and the job he's done. Obviously defending national champs. I think Coach Day is like 70-10 since he's taken over at Ohio State. And you think about the quality of players in this game. If you look at last year's game, 26 players got drafted off of the 2 teams in the NFL. You include free agents, 32 players that were playing in that game a year ago are now in the NFL. And the fact that both teams are coming back is 1 and 2 in the country, I think speaks volumes to the quality of programs that both of us have, quite frankly. And so, we've got 9 guys that started in that game a year ago. We had 30 players back that played in that game a year ago, so we do have some experience from that environment. But it should be a heck of a day. The fact that, this is going to be Lee Corso's swan song, and ESPN College Game Day is going to be there. Obviously, Fox with their big noon kickoff covering the game is going to be there. I think sets for a great environment and a great stage for this game. Naturally, it's a tall task. We've talked about this at length before the season, but we've got a tough road slate this year, and this is the first one of a few to come. And so it serves us good to have to go on the road early, find out about ourselves, find out where we're at as a program, where we can improve, and where we can continue to get better, because we're going to travel more than any other SEC team this year in our conference. And so this is a great opportunity for us to go do that. Naturally, we believe in our process on the road. We've won 11 in a row on the road now, and they haven't been easy. They've all been very difficult. Going on the road is tough. But this is going to be a heck of a matchup for a great environment against a really good team who's really well coached, who's had a ton of success.
All right, that's Steve Sarkisian talking about the upcoming matchup versus Ohio State. Yeah, I mean, we don't talk enough about it because the schedule, we haven't really gotten into how much travel the team's going to do, but they do travel a lot, and they do have that stretch where, I mean, they basically don't play at home for like a month.
41 days.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I don't know. CJ, you might have done some research on it. I know you do a lot of deep diving, a lot of rabbit holing. I can't think of a time where Texas had a stretch like that long without playing at home.
Not a full calendar month is crazy.
Yeah.
For a school like Texas, where you're guaranteed 3 in the non-conference, But hey, I think that's another benefit of the SEC going to a 9-game schedule. Sorry to completely pivot there, but you get an extra home game, right? It's one of those things where you don't get, kind of bit by the schedule and the unfortunate lunk there.
Yeah. The fortunate thing about that is you have to play another SEC team.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Sark looks good, doesn't he? Sark looks battle. I mean, he looks like he's in great shape.
He does.
The recipe that he uses to prepare kids for road games is undeniable.
Yeah.
We've won 10 road games in a row, and we've beat some dang good teams on the road with a lot of hype, with a lot of noise. So whatever he's cooking in that pot on them away games, those road games, is working. And we'll find out again. But he looks confident. He looks fit. He looks healthy. I mean, I just am very excited for us to be where we are this week and get to finally get a little football going. And you don't got to wait all day for it either, Rod.
Well, it's early. Mm-hmm. It's a business trip. That's why I like it too, for the guys. I mean, they'll get in there, Friday, do all your stuff, you walk through, boom, have some dinner, go to sleep. By the time they get up, get breakfast, it's time to start heading down to the stadium.
Hey, Rod, is the OU game is that the toughest environment, or what's the loudest environment you played a college football game in?
That's a great question. Honestly, I hate to it's going to be the Aggies in that conversation.
Yes.
And because we didn't go to a lot of big time
matches. I
can see
remember, that. So as the game
Nebraska was pretty
yeah. So as you get into the game, does that kind of go away? Do you not? You just kind of tune it out. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and on defense, it's always a little different because they're trying to. Sometimes they try to stay down just for the offense. Yeah, they try to keep it quiet. So it's mostly our offense that's got to deal with it. That's the ones who really got to worry about it. I would say for us communicating, it was never an issue how loud it was.
Marcus, hey,
man, there you go. He played in some big time games. Yeah, Arkansas though.
I didn't think about Arkansas. Yeah,
we talked about it last year. Texas was fortunate that game was at 2:30, or I guess it was an 11 a.m. kick, wasn't it, in Fayetteville? Arkansas gets after it. They saw it in 2021.
Yeah, when you get them late games. Yeah, that could be like going out to Lubbock or something. Late games, different beast playing. Yeah, drunken hillbillies. There's something about that nighttime. It's a little bit different. All right, let's. We'll get into some more questions. A couple of questions before we get out of here. But I want to thank our last sponsor, our friends at SeatGeek, and we are really happy to have our friends over at SeatGeek as a part of the On Texas football family. So Texas fans, you can, trust me, use that code right there, On Texas 10, and this weekend's a great weekend to do it. That's the promo code, which is why you want to give our friends at SeatGeek a chance and a shout if you're looking for tickets. With more than 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, folks. And trust me, they're a great place for you to get the best tickets to any of the top events and big games, but especially when you're talking about college football. It's back, and the NFL is also right around the corner. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, so you're getting a great deal. So look for the green dots, and green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Of course, we've got a deal for the On Texas football fans out there. Use that code ONTexas10. That's ONTexas10. You'll get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code ONTexas10 at SeatGeek. Make sure you click in the link in the description to download the app where you have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. All right, if you need to, so you won't forget. That's on Texas 10. And thank you to our friends over at SeatGeek, and we really appreciate them for sponsoring our show, our Monday live stream, but actually the winning drive here. So good to have SeatGeek on board as a member of the On Texas football family. All right, let's get to a couple of questions. I know we're getting close to the end of things, getting ready to end it. A couple of things here. How about this one? How about this one from Jerry C? Do you think PK lets Manny Muhammad shadow Jeremiah Smith? They try to motion him around. This is good. I don't think there's a chance of that.
No.
But it's a good question to ask. Actually.
Yeah, it is.
If they didn't do it with the actual Thorpe winner a year ago, I don't think they're going to do it with Malik Muhammad. And it is a great question because, look, you don't quite know what that second cornerback will give you. You have an idea. And more times than not, if you got Jeremiah Smith on one side of the field, you want to have a surefire thing on him, right? But if they didn't do it with Jahdae Barron a year ago, I would be surprised if they deployed it this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, though. I like that, Jerry C. It's a good topic. I like this one, too. AJJ says, Rod, what was your hardest ranking for you when making your all-time DBU list?
Great question.
It is a great question. And I felt bad. A bunch of these, actually, I felt bad ranking. And the ones I just felt like I ranked too low because I got
that was an awesome list, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet, Rod B,
man.
top 75 Texas DBs of all time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, I probably got myself in trouble ranking too many. So, of course, people are going to be like, hey, this guy's too low, too high. But I felt bad about ranking guys like Cedric Griffin. I just think Cedric Griffin's a damn good player. We have so many good guys on the list. He ended up being, 22nd on my list. And I felt bad because I put myself at 21 because I'm number 21, just so you know. That's the coach. Yeah. So I'm not saying I shouldn't be bumped down. I probably should bump myself down. And then I wouldn't feel as bad. But I felt bad ranking him kind of low. I had Dylan Haynes, I thought, a little too low. Dylan Haynes like top 5 all-time interceptions. I thought I had Dylan Haynes, so I think I had Dylan Haynes like in the 50s or somewhere like that. And
I was just happy to see Holden Hill mentioned.
Holden Hill made my list. Like I went deep, though. I went deep, coach. I didn't leave.
You did.
I probably went too deep. But there you go. Go check it out. It's at ontexasfootball.com. Bobby says, I feel like Rod keeps an updated list. Is off his desk at all times. That's the deepest I've ever gone. I went to 50 previously prior to making this one. But I hadn't done it in 10 years. So now it's at, I think I did to 70 or 75. So I'll try to do it annually, but I shouldn't have to update it that much. I mean, next is going to be Taft added and whoever's going to the draft next year with Jelani McDonald, maybe, somebody like that. Malik Muhammad. So I'll add like 2 or 3 guys per year. Like that'll be pretty good. All right. Thank you guys for joining us in all the super chats. You guys were amazing. Everybody at this point is really hype about the matchup in the game. We appreciate you guys helping us build this community and kind of sharing all this great energy that the Longhorn Nation has right now about this team. Thanks to Matthew behind the scenes. Matthew's the real MVP. Can't do better than him. He's the hardest working human that's associated with On Texas football. So we appreciate him all the time. Coach, thanks for the wisdom and the levity as always. You're always great. Thank you, CJ. We appreciate. Oh, did I miss? Oh, thank you, Woodshed boy. Thank you, NIL diaper buddy. Hope she is healthy and happy. She is. Oh, today actually was crazy. It says I might as well just share this. So we're talking about the little one. She went to, I guess you can call it school for the first time. Yeah, we had, with a backpack on and everything. We dropped her.
Tears? How'd you do?
Mama cried and she cried, but apparently she was fine. She stayed from like 9 to 1, and then she was fine. But she cried at first. I didn't cry. I was fine. It was all good. But she had that as a kind of a big step. So that was one of the updates if y'all wanted about baby girl. Our respect to all Longhorns from Ohio State fans. Hey,
thank you
guys. Right. And all the Ohio State fans who are joining us to try to figure out how we're going to game plan for the Buckeyes and what the Longhorns may be thinking. We appreciate you guys helping us as well. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, at least the live stream crew will be back tomorrow. And it'll be A new live stream crew, actually, and I should take the time to welcome the newest member of the OTF family, Amanda Atwell. The very talented Amanda Atwell is going to be a part of the OTF crew going forward, and she's going to be hosting some of our primetime PM live streams. So we're really excited about that. It's about damn time that we start representing the ladies on OTF. So we're excited about it. I know she's really excited about it. It's a huge upgrade for us, folks. You're going to love that. So just throwing it out there too. So look forward to that. Tomorrow, Coffee and Football with Bobby and Jerry. If we missed any of your questions, we apologize about that. Direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning at 8:15 for Coach and for CJ and for Matthew. I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.